Archie, first of all, welcome to Gateshead. I mean, you just mentioned off camera there, it's been a pretty quick turnaround in getting up here now, to be fair. But first off, just how pleasing is it to get things sorted before not only the season, but just around the start of pre-season as well, really?
Yeah, really good. Delighted to be here, first and foremost. Yeah, it's been a quick turnaround. I played a game against Barnet on Tuesday night, and there's kind of been a bit of talk before, but really only knew yesterday that it was happening, so I drove up today and then looking forward to playing tomorrow against Sunderland.
Yeah, and mentioning that kind of quick turnaround, how have things sort of progressed from, you know, the no interest to then ending up here, really, from your point of view?
Well, to be honest, the first I heard about it was last season when I was at Notts. Maka had mentioned it, that the gaffer was speaking to him a little bit and that, so it was kind of always in the back of my head. And then I've spoke to Ed Francis during the pre-season and the off-season a bit. He's been messaging me as well, so it's kind of just progressed from there, really. And then this last week it's really ramped up, and yeah, delighted to be here.
Yeah, I think mentioning an interview with one of the other boys who's just signed here recently, he was kind of saying you always seem to know someone who's kind of been at a club that you end up asking about them before you join and that type of thing. Obviously, you mentioned there talking to Maka and Ed a bit. Has that kind of helped a bit, having a couple of lads who've been here fairly recently that sort of know what it's like around the place and that they can give you a bit more feedback on what it's like rather than the stuff you might just see externally, I suppose?
100%, yeah. I think most boys do it. They kind of be texting someone who's at the club or just been at the club if they know the other boys or the playing staff and that, and kind of get a feel for it. And the people I've spoke to have only said good things about it, so yeah, just delighted to be here.
Yeah, and of course, mentioned ending the season at Notts last year, obviously a successful one for them, and not only for them, obviously yourself playing a big role in the playoff final as well. Not exactly the most usual of circumstances, I suppose, but a good highlight for your career already, even in its early stages.
Yeah, exactly. It was amazing what happened at the end of last season and the full season at Notts, really what they managed to achieve and how it ended for me personally. So going to try use that really to kick on this season, try get a full season of football. And yeah, just need to try focus on being the number one goalie and having a consistent season and helping the team out.
Yeah, and you mentioned there in terms of getting a bit of a consistent season under your belt. Obviously, you've been in the league before with Kings Lynn, but again, you mentioned off camera, that's another one that was kind of not exactly the most sort of steady of football in those times as well. So how important do you think it's going to be for you to just be hopefully playing week in, week out and having a chance to get that consistent run? Hugely
important. I think, as you touched on there, I played Kings Lynn and it was kind of the COVID year, so it was a bit different. It wasn't the same having fans and things like that. So that's the main thing about being here, really, is I just want to kind of be a number one, play week in, week out, you know, kind of help lead the team and just be that goalkeeper that they look back towards and have a bit of faith in. So that's kind of a huge thing for me coming here, is just having that bit of pressure and weight on my shoulders to do that, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, you touch on the pressure aspect a little bit there. I mean, the goalkeeping position here is probably a bit different to a lot of other clubs in the sense that Mike and Busted and Rob kind of want the keeper to have a bit more of an active role in terms of playing out from the back and starting attacks, really. I mean, how do you feel as a player, not only that suits you, but how do you feel in terms of coping with that kind of pressure of being asked to do that on a weekly basis?
I think, yeah, that's kind of part of the reason why it sold it to me as well, speaking to Ed and things like that, and Maka and that, the way the manager here wants to play and things, and I think that kind of put me towards going to Notts County last season as well. I think they kind of put that pressure upon the goalie to do that, and it's something that I kind of pride myself on and really like doing. So being able to do that, hopefully this season for the team, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and mentioned earlier, of course, coming in just after the start of pre-season, so still quite a few games before the season does kick off and get underway, but how much are you looking forward to just getting in, getting used to playing with the rest of the lads before the competitive action does start?
Massively. I think it'll help, especially with the way the manager here wants to play. If I can get a few games under my belt before, and then obviously train with the lads for a few weeks and that before the actual season starts, it'll hopefully help to be ready and kick on when the competitive games do start.